It's normal for us to want a little bit of attention from time to time, but there are certain ways that we seek for attention that might not be the best, either for the person that we're seeking attention from or ourselves. On the similar lines of attention, acknowledgement is also something that we find ourselves seeking. When it comes to young children, there seems to be a need to be able to understand and distinguish the difference between when children are seeking for attention and when children actually need acknowledgement. Let's think for a second of moments when we are seeking for attention versus seeking acknowledgement. What similarities or differences do we find in those moments? And how do we usually help ourselves to understand the differences so that we can actually meet our needs? Picture this. You have a child who has come back from a long trip. They and their family have been away and have been enjoying their time together. Now, just before this child left, they were getting to a point when they were a little more comfortable with being in your care and away from their family. This child comes back from their trip, and once again, this child is seeming to have difficulties when it comes to separating from their parents upon drop-off. Through different strategies, you're able to calm down the child, and then they're able to say goodbye, and you go into the classroom. Now, throughout the day, this child seems to stick to you like glue, and doesn't want to separate. So much so that you aren't able to go to the washroom or get a sip of water without them crying and having a very difficult time. Each time this happens, you end up going to the child and soothing them again to help them understand that everything's okay. You just went to go get a drink of water. The child calms down and you resume what you are doing with the child. Let's think for a second of what you would do in this situation. How would you support them to understand what they are going through? Ultimately, after talking with some of the other teachers, you realize that this child's behavior is not new. You realize that there's a part of this that is more so about seeking attention rather than it being a need for them to stay right by you. For us as human beings, being able to cry and experience our emotions is very important to understanding what our body actually needs. For this young child, every single time that whichever staff they were clinging on to that day would leave, they would end up being in a moment where they would almost have to face their emotions. In the end, with the support of the other teachers, we realized that what we needed to do was to provide a space where this child could come and experience their emotions, face their emotions, and acknowledge what they were actually feeling, to then understand what they needed and how they could help themselves address their emotions in a proactive manner that would then help them to engage with the emotions better, instead of just giving them attention as a way to put a band-aid over what they were feeling. In all honesty, this process is not pleasant, and it takes a lot of patience and a lot of support. But in being able to discuss and recognize what the child actually needs amongst those who are there to support you and support the child, then provides a space where you are all able to engage in a way that is helpful for the child and yourself. In helping this child acknowledge that yes, they miss their mommy, yes, they want to go home, but the situation is the way it is. And there are materials and toys and people in the room that want to play with them, that want to help them have a positive experience while they are away from their family. As we go through this process with children, and I really mean process, we are able to see the child slowly and surely understand themselves and engaging in ways that truly meets their needs. With this awareness, Children then take from their experiences, build upon them, and become more and more fluent in recognizing what their needs are. They then take this fluency and awareness to then help those around them, and ultimately help themselves as they watch, think, be.